We got it. Hi, everybody. I got a perfect time. Welcome back to the two Virgos. So Beck and I are both Virgos, and today is August 25th, 2020. It's 6:02 p.m., and it's about 905 degrees Fahrenheit outside, like it is on the surface of the sun. And we're both Virgos. So if you think you don't know any Virgos, now you do. So, you want to say hi?
And my mother-in-law's birthday was yesterday, and she's a Virgo. Well, obviously, it was yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And with me, I have, I'll do you first, my daughter, Brittany, because Brittany's going to talk about her favorite book. And Brittany's, we have big news. I'm gaining a daughter, Brittany's fiance.
Hi.
Dun, dun, dun. Yay!
Did you just get engaged?
Yeah.
Just last night.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I asked him if I could announce that, like last second. I said, "Oh, how am I going to introduce you?"
Awesome.
So, but while they're sitting here with us,
congratulations.
Thank you.
See?
Wah, wah, wah. So while they're sitting here with us, I figured I would ask them what their favorite books are, because Emma is very scientifically brained, and Brittany likes to read fiction, and you are very scientifically brained also, and historically brained, and so you and Brittany have some things in common. So, what's your favorite book or your favorite movie?
Mine?
Yeah.
My favorite movie?
Yeah. Because I'm wondering if it's the same as her favorite book.
Oh, jeez, I don't know. It would maybe, I don't know. I don't really have one, I don't know. Oh, maybe say Pride and Prejudice? I don't know.
What's your favorite book?
Probably Pride and Prejudice.
Okay, so what's your favorite book?
My favorite book is The Clockwork Orange.
Yes!
Yeah.
That is, yes.
My favorite book is
That's a great book.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
his favorite book
what
is
it means, though. A lot of people, I don't think they realize what Clockwork Orange really means.
Yeah, no, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, they get very offended by it, and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, okay. Well, you turn on your TV and you see that every day. But that's not what the movie's about anyway.
No. Well, it's so great because it's, you can take it a couple different ways, which I enjoy for multiple people. When it comes down to nature and nurture, which in the book, it's different than the movie, and like you actually get a happier, more resolved ending. And the movie, they leave it at a confrontational ending because it worked for Hollywood, but the book, it goes forward and it gives you the resolve, which is what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah. And I think more people should open their minds to, just because you perceive something some way, looks can be deceiving regarding the movie.
Yeah.
Most people judge that, and it's like, no, if you actually read the book, I think you'd find it to be a lot more enlightening than you think,
Yeah,
but,
it really is. It's a fantastic book.
Really,
I recommend it to anyone.
Definitely. Okay, so what's
your favorite book?
I like that it gets in the mind of people who, don't feel anything. And it talks about how usually sociopaths are like the most successful people because they're not afraid to like step on people to get to the top, which is really interesting. Like,
that makes
big
sense.
Businesses. And,
what's the title?
Confessions of a Sociopath.
Oh, interesting. No, I get it, man.
Yeah.
Driven people. They really, you got to learn about things, otherwise you don't know about them, right?
Yeah.
So it's better to know your enemy, or whatever, So, plus I know sociopaths, so psychopaths, know a few of them too. So it's always good to. But who wrote it?
I don't remember the name.
It was an autobiography, actually.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. I cannot remember her name at all. It was a good book. It was a woman.
Confessions of a Psychopath. We'll look it up.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll pop right up.
Psychopath or sociopath?
Sociopath. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. So do you think there's more women sociopaths than there are men?
Question.
I don't know. I know there's more crazy women.
Yeah.
Psychotic. That's for sure. I've known a few of them. Men are generally, I think, are just like. Wait a minute. Let me see. Oh, here we go. I found it. Emmy Thomas.
Yes.
So if you want to read that book, that's who the author of Confessions of.
You guys have the same name, kind of.
Yeah.
Emma and Emmy.
I think guys hide they're crazy. I think we're all odd. So I don't know if there's more women than men are. I think men are just better at not caring. I think the things that bother us don't bother them. Like they don't care about the little things, like which way the toilet paper rolls on, or
if you have enough tampons in your purse.
Yeah, I think we worry about everything because we're just supposed to, because they don't. You know what I mean? So even the way that we are made is designed to, we're mothers till we're dead, basically. Yeah.
And a lot of times you're single mothers, even if you're married.
So what's your favorite book?
Ask me a genre, and then I can go from there.
What's your favorite nonfiction book?
God. You'd still have to ask me, narrow it down. Okay, my favorite fiction book is, I had a romance novel one time called Heat of a Savage Moon. And that's about the only fictional thing I think I can thing. It was like
Anne Rice for that. Anne Rice is good for that.
Great.
Oh my God. Isn't she amazing? Pandora is my favorite book by her. I love that book. It is so good. It's got Marius and Pandora in it together, and Marius is like everything to me, So did you see the movie? Oh shit. It's about what's her name? I'm drawing a total blank. You know who I'm talking about, Akasha, when she comes back and takes Lestat, and they start, and then she goes
interview.
Marius. Did you see that? What did you think of his portrayal of Marius? He didn't look like Marius, which
he didn't. No,
I think he captured him very well.
I think it came out really well, actually, better than I expected. Much better than I expected.
They were inaccurate about a lot of things in that, though, because I've read all of Anne Rice, and my book Lestat just falls apart.
Yeah.
I've had 2 copies of The Mummy.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Mummy.
Yeah.
Oh, that book I've owned 3 copies of alone. Because it's just, she's amazing. If you don't read any Anne Rice, and I'm not even into vampires and stuff, which is weird because that's all it's about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history there. If you've read her books, that. You're like, we're going back to ancient times, and she's amazing. She's
an excellent author for all the fantasy, but there is history to it, which is what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, and it's accurate history too. It's like she does her research, and that's always, I love the idea of building on an idea or taking an existing idea, maybe giving it a different timeline so you can approach it from a different perspective. But she literally takes ancient history accurately and ties it into her fantasy, where you can just be like, yeah, that shit would actually be a thing, wouldn't it?
Like, makes you question if it was.
And even the way that she claims that vampires came into existence is extremely viable. I loved that, but I can't remember what that was. That Queen of the Damned when they told us how that happened. I can't remember. I read them all and so long ago.
I haven't read any of them.
You haven't read any of them? Are you?
No, I read can't remember. I had a book years ago that she wrote, but it wasn't any of the Interview or Queen of the Damned or anything with that storyline. Well, actually, my friend actually just bought a copy of The Mummy, I believe it was, and was like, "You're reading it next," because she was offended. I was like, "I read one book in high school." She was like, "You're gonna read more."
Yeah,
so,
you gotta. Like when you open a book, she puts you right there. You feel like you're just walking, right down to Nolans. You can hear the rain. Like it's incredible. And The Mummy, although it doesn't really take place in Nolans, it takes place in. Well, I'm not going to tell you about it. It is a good book. And it'll be a familiar story to you, but I'm telling you, it's like one of the best books you'll ever read. Mine literally, it was just, I would hold it and papers would fall out. Just the pages were, so three copies later. And I have her first edition, Pandora. Read a little bit of the, well, you could read Pandora on its own, the way the book's designed. The way that, because Pandora writes her own story, right? Yeah. Think, right? I can't remember. It's been so long. But she's a vampire, but she's like 3,000 years old, 4,000 years old. It's insane. But you can read that book standalone, and you can read Blood and Gold, which is Marius' story, as a standalone book too. You don't need to read her whole Vampire Chronicles to read those books, and you don't need to know the Vampire Chronicles to read The Mummy either. So, but if when you do know the Vampire Chronicles, then you'll understand Pandora and Marius. He really did grasp Marius's nature. Marius is very big Gaul. He's very blonde, very Viking-looking man. Even Lestat was like 6'9" or some crap, and he just had he was just this insane man. He was the wolf killer. He was considered, so he wasn't like, even though what's his name captured him beautifully. Tom Cruise played Lestat to a T. It was insane. He wasn't the stature. He was a much bigger. He's portrayed as a pretty boy, and he was, but he was like, he would kill wolves with his, and I mean wolves, like these are supernatural wolves. You know what I mean? Right. So they're huge, and he would do it with the bare hands. So that's why Magnus chose him. I'm getting way too into it. You got to read it. Like it's really.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it to my list. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna add it to my list. I'm writing down a book list for myself.
If you just want to enjoy reading, without it's like the world of Harry Potter, but she writes as well as what's her name does, Rowling. She puts you in the story. You're immersed in it. You can't even help it. It's just incredible the way she writes. I don't know how she writes now. She became a born again Christian, so she went in a different direction with her books.
Interesting. I don't think you did. No.
I have her Jesus book.
What book?
Anne Royce's Jesus book. If it's out there, you can have it.
Oh, look.
I don't really know how it ends. I don't think she's writing like that anymore, though. Didn't she change her genre?
Yeah.
I think she went back to the way, I don't know. Once she started writing that kind of stuff, it's like, well, I got a Bible. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like if I want to read about that kind of stuff, because I have a way of, I don't know. I don't want really.
You want to talk about a scary book?
What book?
Bible is pretty scary.
Oh,
Bible.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting stuff. Everything you want in it. Drama, death, destruction, usurping, like all kinds of crap. It's one hell of a book.
So this Facebook user says, I have some of her Angel Chronicles. Haven't read them yet. And I asked if that was Lois, because my friend Lois.
Is that the Angel Chronicles? Is that like the Vampire Chronicle? Like when she went to the next genre?
Looks like it. She said it was hers, so.
I'm just wondering, because she went like in a whole other direction, which is great. I just don't.
That's me. Oh, it's Jessica. Hi, Jessica. It's Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
So confused.
Here we go. Angel Chronicles, Anne Rice. I didn't even know about these. Probably because
Jessica, my daughter Brittany, right here.
No.
So Jessica's my
sister. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, Angel Time. Vampire Chronicles. She's an anti-hero.
Yeah, I keep wanting Jessica to come on here because she's
I'm gonna have to look this. Oh, it's about the seraphim. Is that what that's about? Jessica the seraphim. That might be worth reading.
Anna is watching with me too. I guess, yeah, Angel Chronicles. I can see how that would tie in with the seraphims.
Yeah, is that what's it about? It's why I asked Jessica that. Is it about the seraphim? Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So cool. I have to check it out because, I'd like to read her stuff again. She's a good writer. I always enjoyed it. Just didn't want to read a Bible study. That's all. I read Anne Rice for not that,
Otherworldly.
I kind of want to be a little, like I want my reading to be, not.
I would have figured it'd be about the Nephilims.
Well, if that's from that one, I don't know what it's about.
Ooh.
But I'm wondering if the one she's talking about, Christine Feehan. Who is she? What does Christine Feehan make? Who is she?
So I would see, I would think that Anne Rice one with the angels would be about the Nephilims.
That would probably be a good read. She'd probably write like crazy about them. She's so good. Let me see.
Christine Feehan.
That's who I'm looking up right now. Legend of the Carpathians. Really? That sounds interesting.
Do you know what that is?
No, I just like Becky's face.
Is this about? It's gonna be about the people who go into the Carpathian Mountain. No shit. Is it about? Because the Bible says that that's where the Antichrist comes from, right? Jessica is the Carpathian Mountains at the feet of them, which is in Russia. Well, Ukraine-ish. They actually kind of, anyway, that's what I mean. Anne Rice, but certain
vampire romance books like Anne Rice, but certain things are more detailed, like sex.
Thank you, Jessica. I saw your yes. And detailed. Oh yeah. Who wrote that? Vampire and romance books are like Anne Rice, but certain things are more vampire. Wait a minute, hang on. Christine Feehan. Okay, that's what that answers to.
Yeah.
So Christine Feehan makes vampire. Really?
Like sex?
Like I'm gonna read, right? I'm reading a book about a prostitute. And I'm still not reading it. I think I'm on page 72. Not a prostitute, I'm sorry, a groupie. I shouldn't have said prostitute. It's not at all what she is. Or they are. So if I can't listen to it or watch it on another screen when I'm working. Christine writes about Carpathian. Really?
I said you got it.
Really? That's a Carpathian vampire race? What are they, like the lineage to the Antichrist or something? Is there a connection? Sorry. I'm looking at her comments.
Sounds interesting. I mean, who's your favorite author?
Sylvia Brown, of course.
So
Sylvia Brown, my girl. Sylvia. So. Is it in here? What'd she say? Oh, she said no?
Nope.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Cool. So this Sylvia Brown book, I have a bunch of Sylvia Brown books, and I'm pretty sure that this exact thing where it talks about in the year 2020, where's that? 2020. Can you see that?
I can't see that.
Okay. Well, trust me, it's in there. So, no Satan stuff, just straight up vampires, werewolves, and people with psychic abilities. Although I was just told yesterday that I was satanic.
What? What? Who said you were satanic? Why would they say that? Is there something wrong with them?
Because I practice Reiki, and I have friends who are witches, and I was going to a spiritualist church, and psychic abilities.
Wow.
Which, therefore, in their mind means I'm satanic.
Wow. It must be painful.
Everybody's afraid of what they don't know. So I accept it.
It's just righteous ignorance is what that is.
Well, yeah, because they don't
their
know.
chest and, oh, you're this, while they're sipping on their wine and they just took 2 Xanax while they're talking shit to you. Be quiet. Nobody cares about their opinion. You know, it's
Probably
none of your
just smoking a big blunt. Well, these were very.
Hey, you're not wrong with smoking a blunt. I'm talking about Karen with her wine and her Xanax. People like that don't smoke weed. They're not cool enough.
What?
You just said her smoking their blunt, and I'm like, girls like that aren't cool enough.
It wasn't a girl, it was a guy. And as far as I know, that's all he does is smoke weed.
Does he? Oh, does he live in his mom's basement too? Does he drive his mom's car? Or does he ride his bike to work? I'm sorry. I'm done. I don't even know who we're talking about. So.
So, no, but this person is very non-practicing, but brought up in a very organized religion. So, and their religion doesn't allow for exposure or learning about other religions. And I've always encouraged, my kids to learn as much as they can about any kind of religion or anything.
So why did he feel the need to say this to you? Did it come up in conversation? Or did he just randomly message you?
No, he didn't message me. The message was delivered to me by someone else because I wanted to take their child to see, I don't even know, kind of like a Tibetan monk or something. I wanted them to see a Tibetan monk at the spiritualist church. And they were like, I don't know. Oh, and I brought the Death Cafe into it, the Niagara Falls Death Cafe. Actually, I didn't bring it up. It was brought up to them. So they put the whole thing together, which I guess if you see it that way. So goes to psychic events and practices and has psychic abilities and mediumship. Has friends who are witches, and I have witchcraft books. Practices and teaches Reiki. And what was the other thing I said? Oh yeah, and goes to the Death Cafe or have been to the Death Cafe.
What does that have to do with anything? There's nothing satanic about death or cemeteries or anything like that. That I don't understand the tie-in with that. I just don't think any of his business to even have a comment. I'd like to go and observe his life and maybe pass some judgment on him, see how he likes it. That's the problem with people. They like to just get in the business. And who are you? Because your book tells you? Your book tells you. Okay.
Well, I respect it, and I understand people don't know. People are afraid of what they don't know. So
that's
being
not
that it was
being ignorant. Being afraid, would he be afraid to comment? How about you just mind your own business?
Well, it was his business because it was his child that I wanted to take to the spiritualist church.
Okay, no, yeah, well then,
yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking it was a friend's child. I don't know. That's where no, okay, well, yeah, I mean, shit, but still, you shouldn't judge people. You're not satanic.
I know I'm not satanic, but
back row with your little trident.
Well, it's Neptune anyway. But
I'm just saying, it's so stupid it sounds.
Yeah, people are afraid of what they don't know, and I'm sure that this man has not read much. So,
well, at least not on that kind of stuff. But still, it's not really for him to judge. I mean, when it comes to his kid, he can do whatever the hell he wants. That's his privilege, and I don't, if that's against the way he feels, that's against the way he feels. But as far as passing judgment on you personally, like, I understand not letting, he doesn't want to expose his, I don't understand though, because a Tibetan monk is like, it's kind of awesome. Remember when we went to the What do you call
I
it?
thought so. I thought it was going to be a once in a lifetime experience. I thought it was going to be great. You know, I mean, that's all about peace. And
it's the world. That's the thing. The world, you can want to shield your child all you want, but all you're doing is, you know, removing them from situations that eventually they're going to have to deal. Like the world exists outside of your home, you know, so you can't tell them they, you know, what are they going to look like going out? What's a Tibetan monk? People are like, what? What do you mean? You don't know what a Tibetan monk is? Like you should have learned that in 4th grade, you know? But when you block that learning, there's a lot of things that they're going to be unprepared for. The world is out there. Teach them how to cope with it, you know, not how to judge it, you know, unless they're pedophiles, then you judge them and just kill them. But other than that, you know, that's, you have to accept that there's life out there. You can't shield your, I mean, that boy never going to have any friends, a child, because some people are, how does he feel about Muslims? How does he feel about Islam? How does he feel about anything different from his faith? Is that child allowed to have any other friends? I mean, I feel like that would be a disservice, right? You know? It's hard, though. It's his kid.
yeah, I was just kind of floating that comment out there. Yeah, it was just called satanic, but
That's absurd to me, though.
I understand when.
And I don't want somebody calling my cousin. I know what it's like to be called a Satanist when you're not. This wretched little this woman that I knew at one time, still just in her mind, thought she knew me then and didn't know anything, and still thinks she knows something, and she doesn't know anything. You know, and it just, it's like, shut up. I'm not a Satanist. Call me anything you want, but I'm not that. I don't want to be seen as anybody's interpretation of that. So, and I don't want my cousin to be seen that way. You know? It's bullshit.
Yeah, but I understand. So, okay, so Jessica says, my husband has Sylvia's blue one. So, can you grab that? Is it the Book of Dreams? Jessica, is it this one?
Here. Go.
I love Sylvia Brown. She's my favorite author. Sylvia's the bomb diggity. Yeah, you can still see. I think I haven't read this one, and When Children Dream, I think ironically enough, I thumbed this off for that little girl who was having dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of the daughter of the father who told me I was satanic.
Yeah.
So, but that's all right. You know what? I have compassion. I understand people are afraid of what they don't know. So, tell me about your book. How did you find this book?
Learn it, and you'll know it, and you'll know it's not what you think it is. Like, I don't know.
How I found that book. Do you remember when I got that?
Is it a gift? Did your sister give it to you?
I think it was a gift. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really have no idea where I got it from.
You were hyped up. Did you read it in school?
I didn't get it from. I have no idea.
But you're very scientific minded, so I can see how that would, how that would appeal to you. But Sylvia, I like Sylvia's books. So, but I was just sharing that in this book, the prophecy book. See, the prophecy book.
How many of her books do you have?
I think almost all of them. And I have a CD with a meditation in it of hers, because she was an awesome public speaker, and, you know, she would have everybody meditating with her. It was very awesome. One of the best experiences of my life, going to see her. But this book is
I've seen her on a show or two before.
Oh, she's been on a lot. She was on Montel Williams a lot.
I forgot about that show.
Yeah, she's been on lots of things, and she's been in Niagara Falls a lot.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where I met her in person.
Oh, where'd you meet her? At a convention or something?
At the casino. Yeah, she came and she was just reading people. Yeah. Oh, Phenomenon. Okay, so, oh, you mean like the teal colored one. So I have that here. This one, Jessica, and I think I have this one tabbed off with a nail file. This one was talking about infused knowledge and the incubus. So this is a great book.
What's the incubus about?
Oh, what is an incubus?
No, I think an incubus is, but is the book about that? Is that what that's?
The Phenomenon book? No, it's about various different psychic and metaphysical phenomena.
Oh, cool.
Beep, 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 beep.
You could hear that?
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
Oh, wow, really? Sorry. Was just trying to put my phone on charge.
Beep, beep.
Okay. We'll just take it right
All
out.
right.
All right.
Astrology.
Oh, I heard it that time. Yeah, it's done now. I actually got it out of the charge. Really?
Okay, so let's hear about your groupie book.
Oh, it's been good. Well, I haven't read it in a while, but that Pamela DeBar, you remember her, right? She was that famous groupie.
Yeah.
That knew a lot of other groupies. Well, the whole book is about those women who were so much more than groupies. Yeah, I was trying to see. But it's not just her. It's like Patty D'Arbonaville. You remember her, right?
No.
She's that blonde chick from Everything. She inspired 2 songs by what was his name? I can't listen to his music, so I don't, but he's an older guy. He really recently, well, he didn't recently, he converted to Muslim. That's why they stopped seeing each other, because he converted to Islam years ago. And they ended up stopping.
At Stevens.
Yes. Well, she inspired 2 of his songs. They were very, very close. Like, people have this idea of groupies, like they're just, but they're not. They're not little, they don't just, they have like certain ones, like except for that one she was so pretty though. She was 15 and she was Jimmy Page's friend. She was underage, which is disappointing, but it's a good book. It's a lot of really cool stories and things I'm finding out about songs that were, inspired by these women who spent years and years with these men. They didn't just, sleep with them 1 or 2 times. They were like their muses. So it's really interesting to see the other side of the coin, because you only
like
hear
Almost
stories.
Famous.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I think the movie was based on. Pamela DeBar, or maybe her and her friends. I think that's what that's about.
No.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I can't make it past the first 15 minutes of that movie.
Cameron Crowe wrote that book about his life.
Oh, my speaker's just kicked in. Interesting. Cameron Crowe wrote what? Almost Famous?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I can't get past the first 15 minutes of that movie. I don't even know what it's about. I know that one chick's in it, Goldie Hawn's daughter. And that's about as far as I got. Like, that's it. Like, I can't get past. They go to a show. They go to some concert. And I'm over it. I've tried twice to watch it, but I can't. So, but it's a good book. It's called Let's Spend the Night Together. She has another one. I'm with the band. And this is what it looks like. If you don't look at my nails, that's what it looks like. So if you want to read, some pretty interesting, I don't know what I'm with the band is. I never read that, but I saw this. I saw an interview with her on YouTube. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to read that book. And I made it to page 72 in the last 9 months.
So. You should read on your lunch break at work. That's how I get 90% of my reading done.
No, I usually sleep at 9. Yep. That's,
That too, yeah. If I'm not reading, I'm sleeping.
I'm just so tired. Our job is just brutal. So, you go on lunch break, you just kind of sit there like you're stupid. Like your brain just kind of goes away a little while because you're doing so much.
Shuts down a little.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I used to fall asleep on the benches in summer. I'd put on my like creepy stories on my MP3 or on my phone, and I'd plug my headphone in, and I would sit there and listen to creepy stories, and somehow manage to wake up.
Yeah. Well, you're on high alert when you're supposed to be on the clock.
Yeah. Well, I was on lunch, so but
right.
Going back, I don't know. I always managed to do it, or Rob would always come and wake me up somehow. He'd sit down next to me and shift the benches and wake me up, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Excuse me, I'm sleeping. But we had these benches on the side out of the sun. It was great. Like, and eventually it's just so hot. What else are you going to do? Especially in the summertime,
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. So, but then I'd come home for lunch sometimes too. But I don't have the brain capacity. We do so much thinking throughout the day that I'm exhausted. Like, so when lunch, I literally check out at lunchtime, and then I have to check back in after lunch. And you're always tired after lunch. And
yeah.
But it's a very mentally, so I've been trying to read this damn book, but I've read so many that I think it counts still,
Right.
And I'm sure when I get older, I'll read when I'm not doing things, but I'm always busy. So I always have something to do, and I can't read and work at the same time. And I'd rather work on the digital. So, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm going to work before I'm going to read. And I'm going to try to. Maybe I'll read a little bit tonight. I probably won't.
So another good book, getting back to the books. Another good book about rock star stuff is this one, The Heroine Diaries.
I have that one in my cover too.
Nikki Sixx, this is awesome.
Yeah, it actually is a good book. But Nikki Sixx is an excellent writer.
Well, he is, and it's a very good quality book besides that. It's fairly like shiny and glossy every page.
Yep, I own it. It's a cool book, and it's written well. All the little blurbs and shit. It's cool. It's like a scrapbook almost.
Okay, so do you just want me to go through this little stack of books that I have here? Because obviously I can't go through all of them. But
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so another really good book that I have, which is I wouldn't call this a self-help book necessarily, but it's definitely, verging on helping yourself, because it's called the MS Recovery Diet, because I have MS. So this has ways that you can eat in it that are very healthy, that take your MS symptoms away and make it so that you don't have to have that much medicine. And it's different for every person, of course, but for me, it worked really good. And the more nasty food I eat, the more symptoms I have, which is unfortunate. But unfortunate. I can't say it.
But it's health.
Oh, yep. I would say it's maybe not helping, but it's like improving. And then this one, The Isaiah Effect, which is by Greg Braden, who's you might like it. He's a great author himself. So The Isaiah Effect. It's all about the prophet Isaiah and how he was given prophecies, and he tried to explain things to people, and nobody wanted to listen to him, or very few wanted to listen to him. And because of that, it goes into the scrolls of the Nag Hammadi.
Okay. Hang on. I don't know what that is. The Scrolls of Nag Hammadi. I've never heard of that.
The Nag Hammadi. It's in the book.
Nag Hammadi. Okay.
It's in the book. So this book, I've referred to this a few times. I think we got this at a yard sale in Lewiston off Center Street. It was a quarter, and I thought it just looked cool, so I started reading it. And through this book, I ended up buying probably 50 more books, because it refers to so many things that I don't have a clue what they are. So I had to keep getting other books to read about what they were referring to. So it's quite the education in this little book. Am I boring you?
No, I'm listening.
But Greg Braden is really, really good author if you want to look him up. So I have, I think, 3 copies of this. This one is hardcover, and I have another hardcover. I think the one that I got at the art sale was, it's really functified now, but it's a soft cover. Paperback, soft cover. Oh, there it is. No, right there. No. It's the left. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think this was the original one that I got at the art sale. See how flimsy? And then this was what I just saw recently at like a used book place. And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get that. Gotta have it. It's a great book. Thank you. And then, oh yeah, so I have this. I have a big Def Leppard book like this too. But this was when we were talking about like autobiographies or biographies, I was gonna throw that in there. It's got some really good pictures. The Reiki book, Changed My Life, Alice Langholt. Practical Reiki for balanced well-being and vibrant health. And you heard about this too, right? Yeah, Emma's a fan. Brittany's a fan.
I'm a fan of you doing it.
Reiki, yeah. So, oh, and this has a couple of things tabbed off. And one of my books here has, oh, here it is right here. So this one, Dr. Wayne Dwyer, awesome author. He's all about higher consciousness and health and self-improvement. But look what's in here. Ooh, remember this?
Yeah. I made that a long time ago.
Yeah, so this is really cute. So if anybody's still watching this, if you're still watching this, if you can write in, hi, that'd be great. So we know you're still here. So Beck makes really cool things. She made this little bookmark for me. And that's pretty cool. Which is also, I think, another example of introverted versus extroverted, because you made this very nice, tasteful, subtle bookmark. And I also made bookmarks, but mine have my face all over them. And not only that, I hand them out to people. Because I'm such an avid reader, and I want everybody to be an avid reader and read all about me and look at my face all the time. So look, they're even pretty on that side too.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Woo! Pretty. And I don't even sell Mary Kay anymore. But yeah, Danielle Bavacqua made those for me.
She's good. She did good.
Jennifer Blythe Nichols. So cute.
It is.
And then, so this one called The 4 Agreements. So these 3, Excuses Be Gone. I didn't even get into this. This one called Excuses Be Gone is written by Wayne Dwyer. I always get his name messed up. And it is all about how we really even don't need to make excuses, because when we make excuses, we're really just hurting ourselves. And if you make excuses instead of just facing the truth and taking the excuses out of your life, it makes your physical body sick. So just face the truth, do what you need to do, don't make excuses. Yeah. So it's very, very interesting. It takes a lot of getting used to, it's a whole nother way to exist, I think, but you know what I mean? So for me, sometimes I have trouble with balance. So after reading this book, instead of saying to myself, I could make the excuse and say, well, I can't go down the basement steps today because I might just be dizzy and I might not feel up to it, because after all, I do have MS. And sometimes, these things happen where I might not have the ability to catch myself if I start feeling dizzy. Well, therefore, I'm just talking myself into feeling more dizzy. and feeling like shit, and more acknowledging the fact and giving more power to the fact that I have MS. And therefore the laundry doesn't get done. And so we both go without laundry for a little while. And then that puts an extra load on David when I could have just said, you know what? My 2 feet are perfectly capable of getting up and walking down the steps. I should at least try, instead of making the excuse for myself. So that's kind of the roundabout summarizing of it, but do you get it? You got it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not saying you do. I'm just, instead of me rambling. And then this one, so this one is Don Miguel Ruiz. So the 4 Agreements. And I have to keep reading this book until I stop saying the 4 elements, because I keep saying the 4 elements whenever I'm telling people about it. And this book is the 4 agreements that we make with ourselves to have higher consciousness and to be a better person. The first agreement that we have to make with ourselves is to be impeccable with our word. You know, we say what we mean what we say. If we are impeccable with our word, people don't question us. And if it gets to the point where people are questioning us, even though I'm very sound in my word and, you know, what I'm saying, that means that the question is really with them, not so much with me. You know, they must have some kind of other bigger issue that they might need to look into, because my word is impeccable. So that kind of thing. And then, then another one of the 4 agreements is to don't assume things. You know, instead of jumping to assumptions and jumping to conclusions all the time, don't assume something. Face the bull into the hole. How do they say it? Grab the bull with the horns. Yes, grab the bull with the horns. Don't make assumptions. Whatever you are assuming and you don't have clarification of it, grab the bull by the horns. Get clarification so that your assumption, which could be causing a whole boatload of shit, basically, you don't want to make assumptions. The other one is just clarify it. Take the bull by the horns and clarify it. Then there is don't take things personally, which goes along with making assumptions. If you are feeling like, you know, you're feeling like you are taking something personally, that means that maybe the problem is with you, not with the person that you are pissed at. So take the bull by the horns and, at least in a gentle, loving way, ask them the questions that will help you break through the assumptions. And chances are they understand that you're impeccable with your word and you can resolve it and work through it. And then the last one, always do your best. So always do your best to be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions and don't take things personally. So this book has been like great to me, and I'm going to keep reading it until I remember to say it's the 4 agreements instead of the 4 elements, because I keep calling it the 4 elements, because look at that. Isn't that what it looks like?
Yeah.
But so Dr. Miguel Ruiz, and I think this is great. It goes along with the higher consciousness, you know, what I'm trying to achieve in my life, you know, where I want to be to make me a better person. And then this one, the secret language of feeling. So this one was written by a hypnotherapist, and it talks about how your feelings will eat you up inside. And most of the time, the feelings that we have were not feelings that we were born with. They were feelings that were bred into us. And, you know, we kind of had to accept what other people's ideas of what our life should be. You know, little babies' first words are no. They know the word no. Instead of, I have a really good friend, I don't know if she's watching this, her name is Heather, and Heather and her husband don't have the word no in their vocabulary when it comes to raising their children. And when I was first watching them, observing them in McDonald's Playland, how they were not saying no to their small child, and I was like, what is happening? I never even heard of such a thing because, you know, the way I grew up, it was, oh, hell no. And I will slap your face right off your body. It was that kind of no. But that's not fair. That's not fair to a young mind. And I did the same mistakes with my kids. Would you agree?
Oh, hell no. We definitely heard no. You know, I want this, I want that, I want the other, let's do this.
Hey, Chicky.
But
you better stop or I'll... How many times did I say I'll rip your arm off and beat you with it?
Yeah, you might have. Yeah. That's not quite no. It's more of a threat.
It's more of a threat. Yeah. And
not quite no, she said. That's funny.
Yeah. So, and now that I'm, you know, at a more mature place in my life, I could say, well, you know, I was just a young mom. I didn't know any better. I didn't even have a good example. So what else was I going to say? I just wanted him to stop. You know, I wanted him to stop dragging the cat by the tail through the house. But that would be, no, not you, not you. That's definitely not you. But that would be me making excuses. So
how do they recommend the kid to stop dragging the cat through the house by the tail? If you don't tell them no, you just let them drag the cat?
No, you are impeccable with your word and show them the way to be with the cat. This is the gentle way. We treat other living things this way. This is how we are to animals. You know, how am I gonna punish her? Stop dragging the cat through the house by the tail, or I will rip your arm off and beat you with it. So I'm provoking more violence out of her original violent behavior because I'm speaking violence back to her. And that wasn't her. She did not do that. This was definitely not Brittany. Brittany is the one that works at the aquarium, and Brittany loves animals. And Brittany was, you know, trying, she's going to keep coming here periodically to make friends with Paco so that Paco doesn't attack her and Emma when they're here. Because, you know, at some point in time, we would like to, you know, maybe leave to go overnight somewhere or something. And, you know, we have Killer Hawkbird out there who likes to, you know, pierce people's ears and stuff like that. So this book is amazing. I mean, it just doesn't, by the time you're done with it, it seems like it should be about this thick because it really does have a lot of things to learn from and exercises in here. And it just talks about how our bodies learn from what we feel. Our bodies react to feelings because of the words that we hear. So one of the examples that it uses in the book is a woman is coming home from work and she has a booming headache and she just can't wait to get home and lay down because she has this booming headache from work. And when she gets home, her daughter, who's like 11 years old, is singing all through the house, singing because she's so happy and she had a great day. And she's singing to ABBA, singing to ABBA through the house, having a great day. And when the woman comes in, she tells the little girl to be quiet, but the little girl didn't hear her. So she keeps singing. And the woman, instead of explaining, listen, I have a headache. Please stop for a little while, okay? And then you can go back to be happy, quieter. I'm so happy that you're happy, but be happy, quieter. So, but she doesn't do that. When the woman comes in from work, she yells at the little girl and says, oh my God, stop singing. I have a booming headache and you can't even sing anyways, just shut up. So from that point on, that little girl is scarred. And she does not ever feel happy when she hears music anymore. She would never even dare to think about singing openly or publicly so other people could hear her. And so she has to find other ways to, and now she feels guilty for feeling happy. So that guilt, in turn, she internalizes, that makes ulcers happen, that makes people have anxiety, nerves. Now, down the road, we have people who are going to be taking Valium because when they feel happy, they've been bred to believe that they're wrong and they are incapable of showing their happiness in a positive way because her mother said that. So that's one of the examples. Huh?
Are they based on case studies or something? The book, is it based on case studies?
Yes, he's a hypnotherapist. So the author is Calvin Banyan, A Rational Approach to Emotional Mastery. He's a hypnotherapist. So he has clients that he's done research on, a lot of case studies. You know what I mean? He's not just a guy. He's like an important guy. So that's him. Where's the picture? Where's the picture? And you can YouTube him, The Secret Language of Feelings. This book, if you YouTube it, I don't believe that it has the book on YouTube, but it will have lots of interviews with him. It will have some of his students also, and I believe some of his clients talking about this book. That's part of the course that I'm taking right now with the Academy. This one, if you go on YouTube and you go to The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, that one you can listen to with your headphones because it's on audio. And this one is definitely on audio, as are a bunch of his books, Excuses Be Gone. And this gentleman here is all about higher consciousness. And that's where we need to be right now, as far as I am concerned. I think that's where we need to be as a people. We need to be in a higher consciousness because we're all acting like a bunch of bottom feeders, and that's shit. It's not going to fly, in order to make the human race happy and healthy and to have our children grow up and be good people. They need to have people that they can look to for examples. Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally. Always do your best. That's in the book. So those are the ones I'm working on now. Oh, so let's see. So Chicky, hi Chicky. Hey Chicky. Chicky says, thanks, Doc. Facebook user says, I tell my kids, hey, that hurts my car, right? Then, my cat, right? Then explain the anatomy of the cat, the reason it hurts, and why you don't do that. That's a good explanation. I was not that with it when I was little because I did say to my children, if you don't stop, I will rip your arm off and beat you with it. One of them sitting right here, she can tell you. I did say it. I've also been known to, instead of explaining, case in point, I have a headache coming home from work. Instead of explaining, it's not helping me when I come home from work and all the dishes are dirty. So I took the extreme approach and grabbed all the dishes. And one time I threw them in the back. I washed them myself, and then I put them all in the back of my car. Y'all can eat off plastic or paper. It was a very bad approach. And then that didn't help either. So I think I did end up bringing him in the house. Oh, I think because I stopped at a red light one time. They heard the dishes. What is that? What is that? And they heard the dishes in the back, in the trunk. And they were like, oh, really? So they were all in the back seat going, oh, there's the dishes. Oh, all right. So they got the dishes out of the trunk and put them in the house. And for a little while, we didn't have dirty dishes. And then the next time that we had dirty dishes when I came home from work, I was like, oh, the hell you say. So I picked up all the dishes and smashed them in the garbage. And from then on, we ate off of paper plates and plastic silverware. So utensils, plastic utensils. Very inappropriate way to mother. That is not a way to be impeccable with your word. Impeccable with your word means they just know that I'm going to blow hot air when I come home from work and blow smoke up their asses pretty much. And, they're just going to, because they were teenagers, they're just going to keep upping it and upping it and upping it. Had I have sat down and explained to them a better way, had I done a better way, then so Jessica, that's good. I don't know why it won't show my name. That's me again. Hi, Jessica.
Yep.
So those are the book. Huh?
I just don't understand why we can't see her name.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, we can see Chicky though.
Yeah.
Hi, Chicky.
Hi, Chicky.
So,
Time is it? Oh.
So what other books? What other books?
You know what else?
I'm good.
Times.
What?
That Mackenzie Phillips book.
Oh!
High on Arrival. I've read that book over and over and over again. I think you have it right now.
Is that a biography?
Yeah, Mackenzie Phillips wrote it.
I'm sorry. You're right.
About 10 years ago, probably. 11 years ago. I think it was like 2009 or 2010.
You know who she is, right? Mackenzie Phillips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she just wrote about her life from childhood, how she ended up living with her father, you know, pup cast, and mom was in the Pampas and the rock and roll lifestyle she was exposed to. And
didn't her father molest her?
Yeah, it honestly, it was a very small portion of the book compared to, you know, I think the first time she did coke was with Mick Jagger, and she was like 11 years old. So she had a pretty early start at it, and then moved in with, you know, Papa John, and he just allowed it, and it wasn't a molestation thing. It was actually just incest at a adult age. It didn't start until she was like 20, and she doesn't really paint it in a bad way. Like, you know, they were just so intoxicated together. Like, he was the first person to ever shoot her up, which is incredibly crazy for your father to be the first person to shoot you up with heroin or coke or a mixture of the two. Yeah, and then, you know, because of it, she was like, it was a consensual thing, albeit it's messed up, but it wasn't forced upon me. It was certainly drug induced, but most of it was just about, you know, her bad choices because of the Hollywood rock and roll lifestyle. And I read it a lot. A lot. It makes you feel better about your own life, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. That's horrible. I don't even understand that. Like,
you know, don't worry about it. No, she can still see you. I just have to get to my messenger for a second.
Yeah. It I don't know. I don't understand it myself, but it was really good. Really good. Enough. I think I've probably read it about 10 times now.
So this is a really good segue. Okay, so have you ever heard of a group called Rain, Brittany?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm going to put some numbers up here that I was given, talking about what a perfect segue this is. Okay, so I was talking with one of our Facebook people who hopefully will be a guest one day, and create banner. And she gave me some phone numbers for situations just like this. And I wasn't sure when I would have an appropriate time to post these, but this is a really good. So everybody, if you have a pen and paper, see if I can. So, all right. So RAIN, I'm not sure what RAIN stands for, but RAIN is about people who have been sexually abused and molested. I'm not really sure what it stands for, but the telephone number, if anybody needs that, if you can hear my voice, but you're not looking at the screen, grab a pen and paper and write this down. It's RAIN like Nancy, N like Nancy. So RAIN with an extra N. It's 1-800-656-4673. And you can call that because it's for survivors of sexual abuse. The other one is the YWCA, and I believe this is in Niagara County, probably more specifically Niagara Falls, 716-278-9662. So the Young Women's Christian Association, YWCA. And then the last one is mental health hotline is 1-800-662-4357 for people who might be feeling, for any of these reasons that I just said, maybe the pandemic is getting the better of them. They just need to really reach out because they feel that they're in crisis. Then take down these numbers. So RAIN, YWCA, mental health hotline, and then I had this one from a while ago, Crisis Services of Western New York. So it's 716-834-3131. So that was a really non-planned, perfect segue. I've had this sitting in here for a little bit now, and I wasn't able to put it in there, but now we can do that. So I'm also going to put the two Virgos Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So as long as we're doing, and I always forget this, we're also doing this simultaneously on YouTube. Did you create that YouTube thing yet?
I haven't had a chance.
Okay.
I will though. I just been busy. I've been doing other things, so I'll get to it. Maybe I'll do it in the morning. I meant to do it the other night.
Well, we have to think about a way. So if you create the YouTube for the two Virgos, then maybe you could do the free StreamYard then, and you could just link them up. You know what I mean? Because if you create a page on YouTube for the two Virgos, then my StreamYard isn't going to be able to link up to it, I don't think. See what I mean?
Yeah, but it'll be done by an email, so either one of us should be able to host it. Because it's just an email account that you make on Google. It has nothing to do with Facebook or anything. So once it's created, you should be able to link it. But whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll do it. But I'm pretty sure the reason why I wanted to make our own unique one other than we need one is that we both can have access to it. Because it's literally by email and password. So like we'll have an email associated with the two Virgos that both of us can access, and then LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram, all that other stuff could also get
LinkedIn. Yeah, I just heard about that. So in any case, so are you a reader these days? So you're saying that it's going to take you, because I'm wondering if maybe I should get you a different birthday present. You might not like the birthday present that I have picked out for you.
Oh, am I a reader? I don't have time to read. I just don't have the time. I'm too busy. I'm doing my thing, and I'd just rather do the other things at this point, But I like books, so if you got me a book, then sweet.
Well, if you're not going to read them, I'll read them, and I'll tell you how they work.
It's not that I don't want to, because I have lots of books I want to read, lots of them, including the book here. This one. I'd like to finish the Heroine Diaries, too. Never finished that. I just don't have the time. I have other things that I just to take up my time, and then by the end of the night, I'm just tired, because I've been in my program doing math all day or cleaning and scrubbing and laundry and painting and, so I just don't really have the time to devote. And when I do have that time, I want to nap. I just want to lay down, go to sleep, watch my diners, drive-ins, and dives, and kind of just pass out for a little while.
Yeah.
I used to read all the time. I used to read 1,000-page books. Swan Song. Oh my gosh, such a great book. I read that thing in like 7 days. 1,000 pages.
That's impressive.
So good. Yeah, it was dedication.
Did you retain it all?
Huh?
Did you retain it all?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite books
What's it about?
Well, I don't really want
heard
to
of it.
say. Oh, it's good. Well, it's about the end. The end. It's about good and evil, but the end is ambiguous, which is nice. As opposed to like The Stand, which, oh my God, I own that unedited hell. God, 1,500 pages of, it was just bad. It took me about a year and a half to read that book. I was so bored by it. But I also read, and it's funny because I love The Stand, the story. There's the book, unedited, uncut, wasn't really great because, there's a reason why they edit books. It's necessary, But after I had read Swan Song previous to that, so it really wasn't. There were a few differences, obviously, in the stories. One's nuclear war, one's disease, but Swan Song was just better. But I like Rob McCammon more than I like Stephen King. So
I'm not a fan of Stephen King. I like to know how it ends because getting there is just such a pain.
Well, he stopped showing up like years ago to his own books. His shit's not even interesting anymore. So maybe it's changed. I don't know. But I think the Pet Sematary was the last book I read by him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you gave me a copy of that.
I think I did. I have a copy of that. I have a copy of Salem's Lot that I haven't gotten to yet, but I really want to.
I love Salem's Lot. That movie scared the living hell out of me when I was a kid. That made me, that was, whew. Still a great movie. Still terrifying. Love it. Recommended it to a friend of mine about a year ago because they were looking and I'm like, but it's old. It's like real old school, so you might not, because they're young.
Are boring. Thank you.
Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Especially when you stop showing up.
They are. Just tell me how it ends. I just need to know how it ends.
Well, Swan Song ends with neither good nor evil winning.
I mean, the Stephen King books. I just need to know how they end. The one Thinner.
Guys win. Yeah.
I really liked Thinner until the last chapter, and then I was never so mad. I was sitting reading the rest of it at the silo down by the river. Down by the river, in a van by the river. Sorry. In a van by the river. In a van by the river. You know that, right? Saturday Night Live. In a van by the river. Anyway, so I was sitting down by the river reading the end of Thinner because I couldn't read it at home because at the time, as I said, I had teenagers at home who were really, really loud. And I wanted to finish my book. So I drove all the way out to Lewiston and sat with just me and the birds and the fish and the river reading Thinner. And the last chapter, I wanted to scream. I almost threw it in the river. I was so mad because I was really into it. It's like he just wants to be done with it, so he just hurries up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he it's like he writes how he thinks, and not in a Sylvia Browne way. Sylvia Browne writes how she talks, and I know that because I've seen her. So I know how she talks. I know how she is. And he is just, oh, yeah. And then this one time, and then this one time, and then this one time. And I'm like, oh, my God, just get to the killing. Just,
yeah. He's a boring. You got to like his style. You got to like the way it is. In a lot of his books, if you go way back into they're not very appropriate, but I mean, they cross a lot of lines today. They say things, they use words and, things that aren't necessarily accepted today anymore.
Yeah.
When we were younger, I don't know. I think I tried to read The Watchtower. I tried. And I just said, I don't even understand. Like, it was just nothing. It was like when Anne Rice changed genres. I'm like, well, all right, so much for that. It was a great ride. I'll always, like the old stuff because I do like Cujo. And I do like, Cujo was terrifying as far as the movie went. And the book was, like put the two together. The one thing I liked about him is that you could use, even though he was like the Tommyknockers, it's an excellent book. I love the Tommyknockers. What's the other one about the
Langoliers?
Yes, I love the concept of that story. Because
Langoliers was.
Because I have a weird, and it shows
now you're
time. Eat them, it eats time, and I'm just like, because this is why time doesn't exist or whatever. It was just a really cool concept, But like I said, like I think it was the Watchtower. I could be wrong. I mean, it's been years since I read a Stephen King book, and it was, I think Pet Sematary was the last one. But my Anne Rice Prince Lestat is what's holding up my camera. Isn't that funny? Got that and fully intended to read that. All I did was take the cover off so it didn't get ruined. It's like 4 years old. It's terrible. And I should read it. But I've already read it, so I don't need to.
So I'm curious, though. So your whole geisha lifestyle that you know about, is that all like from like online that you learned about those?
No, I knew about geishas and stuff when I was a little girl. You know, I think that, like I told you earlier, that gift that Brittany gave you, I think that might have inspired my love of Asian history. You know, always been fascinated with that kind of stuff. And they're beautiful women, and they're not courtesans. They're, well, they're not prostitutes. I guess that would be courtesan too. I guess it depends.
They're concubines.
No, they're not. They're actually women who are entertainers and who are companions, and they're very smart. They know languages. They know how to draw. They know how to play music. They know how to speak. They know how to entice. That's why they have the design on their neck. You know, there's the tiniest bit of white. There's like they put an M. It looks like an M. Pretty sure that's not but it could be for Mako, and there's degrees of geisha. There's, you know, like, because you have to work for it, and it's expensive. It costs about $100,000 with your training for the geisha house, because you go to a geisha house to learn. You know, so you go to a woman, and they invest in you. So unless you get a good dom, then, you know, somebody who comes and, you know, supports you, because most geishas have that man, but they love each other. It's not like an arranged thing, and it's not a prostitute situation. You know, you'll have to pay it back unless he's willing to do it for you. So you're pretty much indebted to the house that you are at until you pay off your debts. But you choose that life, and it's still the same. It's still the exact same way as it was 1,000 years ago. They still do the same way. You still go to the geisha house. You still owe the geisha house. You know, the process is still the same. So it hasn't changed. And I love that history. I love, you know, all of that. Japan is so beautiful. And except for that whole whaling shit, you know, if they didn't do the whaling thing, they'd probably be ideally perfect as far as the way that they act and, you know, all the things. And they're beautiful people. They're generally very beautiful people. And there's a distinct difference between Chinese and Japanese people, and it's very distinct. So I don't understand why people lump them together. Oh, he looks Chinese. I'm like, he looks Japanese. Like, there's a real difference between the two. Japanese or Chinese are more like Russians look Chinese, because, well, they are, but Japanese people don't. They don't look alike. So I don't know why people do that. But I would love to have been a geisha. Maybe I was in another life or something. That's why I like it so much.
Okay, so the book that I'm going to read before I give to you, since you are doing other things I'm reading, I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to give it to you. It's called Geisha.
No, I would have read that. You didn't have to. Now that's something I would have read.
Well, it's supposed to be your birthday present.
Well, thank you. It's beautiful. Is it which geisha? What's the name of the author?
Minako Awasaki.
She doesn't sound familiar. I do know names of geishas. Isn't that funny?
And that's her.
Well, her neck's all filled in. So is it like her life story?
It appears to be, because there's pictures in here.
Oh, I love that movie, Memoirs of a Geisha. It was so awesome.
See? Pictures. Pictures.
Wow. They have great stage performers too. Like, it's crazy the way they do their stages. Then they'll rise up and out of the floors, and they have entire like moving sets, and it's crazy.
As long as he won't fall.
I don't want him to fall. But so this was my birthday present from Brittany and Emma.
I know, I remember that.
Because this is what our grandparents had.
What happened to the one?
Can you put him up in that cover?
Yeah.
Chicky.
I pulled his head off on accident.
You pulled his head off. Chicky, you have been approved. She has to join the group, so
it's like a magnet.
Oh, really? So you're the reason why it doesn't exist anymore?
Yes. I was very carefully putting them from their house in wrapping to pack them up to move, and they all made it. That was the last one. I made sure that that was going to be on top so that it didn't get chipped or scuffed or anything, and I picked it up very carefully and snapped his head off. So that's what happened to that. So
I probably watched the Geisha documentary. I've watched almost every one, including the ones about the Makos and all the other ones. It's so interesting. You should watch them. They basically just resign themselves to a life of not having a life. You know, everyone thinks it's this big party, but it's not.
Just like women growing up in the town of Niagara.
It's a huge sacrifice to be geisha.
Where the men are men and the sheep are scared.
What?
You said they reserve themselves, they resign themselves to having no life. And I said, just like the women in the town of Niagara. But that's just my perspective. That's so rude. Oh my God.
What'd she say?
I was.
What'd she say?
Apparently. I said, that's just my perspective because I was a wife living in the town of Niagara and I wasn't expected to have any kind of life or an education, you know, aside from, you know, like you were big time and if you were the head cashier, woo! And I wanted more than that. I wanted more than that for my daughters. And what did you say? Oh, and I said, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't say. Brittany said geishas are prettier
than the women of the town of Niagara.
Oh.
You were barely a woman of the town of Niagara. You lived there for like 2 years.
You know, I don't even know anybody that lives there. So, you know, I know lots of people live there and aren't alive anymore, but because, you know, it's so clean over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't tiptoe in those. I said too much.
We're so going to talk about the toxic waste dump that is this city. I'm for that. We should bring John back on the show or get Jeff on the show and talk about it.
Yeah, we've definitely talked like way long time. So, yeah. Okay, so do you feel satisfied with your book conversation?
Yeah.
Was there anything you wanted to add?
Nope.
Any books you would recommend to anybody? Authors that you would recommend?
Well, C.S. Lewis. Read the Screw Tape Letters. It's a great book. It's such a great book. Read that. And then Carlos Castaneda's Tales of Don Juan. Real good books. Don Juan, though, is a little hard to read because he wrote it when he was taking peyote. But C.S. Lewis, The Screw Tape Letters, great. It's a conversation between two demons. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Is there any sex in it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. No, it's not like that kind of book. It's like he's training his nephew in the art of demoning.
Cool.
You got to read the book. It's not, it is what I'm saying it is, but it's so much more than that. You know, it's clever. But it's C.S. Lewis. He's a good writer. It's one of my all-time favorites. And Poe. Read anything, Poe.
I was going to say you didn't touch on your poetry.
Well, there. I just did. Read Poe. I want to get the I can't think of the name of it. Telltale Heart. somehow tattooed on me, but I don't really know how. I was thinking of getting the guy with the eyes and having the floorboards over his face, or I was thinking maybe just getting heart under some floorboards, but I don't know if I want to, it would have to be anatomically correct. I don't know. So I just don't know if I want that gruesome of a tattoo on me, but I love Poe. So, but I am going to go for my birthday. I'm getting Rush's, what do you call it? The three little dots, the red balls. I'm going to get them tattooed.
Well, that'd be cool. Ooh. Did you hear that echo?
Yeah. Or maybe
it's time to go.
All right.
Okay, everybody. Thanks
Thank
for joining us.
Yes.
So we miss Robin. Robin will be with us one time soon. Robin's feeling a little under the weather. I probably should have addressed that right away. I just went right into.
Better, honey. I'm sorry you couldn't be here today. I was really looking forward to it, but there's always next time.
And there will be a next time if you ever see Def Leppard in concert. And there will be a next time. Yep. Okay.
So get better and come see us.
Yeah, I think I got so excited about your guys' announcement. Yeah, I just got sidetracked. I had the announcement and I got sidetracked. Okay.
Make sure you check out Jen, her husband's show.
So
United,
the
right?
Unawa Network. You can go to Facebook and go to the Unawa Network, or you can go to Citizens United on Facebook, 6 p.m. Wednesday nights. And this Wednesday, unfortunately, they won't be there. They're having some technical issues. But next Wednesday is going to be good because they're going to have the Democrats that are supporting Biden. And then I think the first time is the Republicans that are supporting Trump. The next time is the Democrats that are supporting Biden. It's going to be good. I can't wait to hear it. I wish we could go and listen in person for that.
Oh my God, that was the first thing I thought.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I wish we could have been there for that.
Oh, we shouldn't message them and ask them if we could come and spy. That would be fun. The last show was exciting. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the prayer. I enjoyed the topic, and I feel like if I would have been better prepared, I could have totally been like, yo, I'm the one, but I didn't really. It took a minute, and I didn't think I could speak like that because, they're taping. Because there's a couple times when I wanted to raise my hand and say, no, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And my perspective as a resident, this is how I feel about that, So, but I didn't know I could do that because he was like, if I'd have known, and I'm like, Ugh. So I really want to have him on the show.
Yeah. Well, if we have anybody left with us, I'm afraid people drop off like an hour and a half later. All right. So next Tuesday, 6 p.m., 2 Virgos. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I will make a post at some point in the week and we will let you know. If you are watching this on White Light Mystic on YouTube, subscribe. If you're still awake, subscribe. It's been on so long. And we'll talk to you later. Peace.
Bye.
Say everybody. Say goodbye, everybody. And